Shannon? I got rid of you. Sorry. I did it my bag. Perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everything's green.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That works. Okay, thank you.
I'll be on my computer, so I'll let anyone in that needs to join.
Okay,
And if anyone has questions, I'll come in.
sounds good. I think we have everybody. Okay, hello, guys. Class is in session. Nico and I were talking about production and our committee, and we started talking about what ways, can we elevate the production? Like, how can we get through to the customers
Do we have another one?
in a more innovative way, and
Got a couple more coming in.
sure.
Let me get gold chairs. Coming in?
This is true. This is super impressive.
He's here, he's going to communicate through osmosis right here, because he's a little under the weather. Call everyone out there. Do
I think there's a couple more coming in, but no, it's not.
we have everybody? Cool.
Might be one more.
So the last meeting, we were talking about finding ways to communicate with our customers in a more innovative, clean way. And we were talking about sending out CMAs to our customers. Not customers as much that we're trying to get business from. Like this is going to be broken down to a couple of different ways. But customers that we've actually done some business with, and it's kind of like a check-in call, a check-in report, like a doctor's. We're sending them like an update. Like you go for a physical every once a year. But this is kind of like send your CMA every quarter or every 6 months. Idea. So after our last meeting, we were talking about the CMA, and then Nico and I were sitting there saying, how do we get the most out of this? And I kind of dove into the program, the Cloud CMA program, and I started teaching myself the program.
Recording in progress.
And let me just see if I can do this.
While Scott's doing that, on the 14th, after the team meeting, we're gonna have a productivity meeting. Anyone here is more than welcome to join the productivity committee. And basically gonna make Scott and I's job easier to think of classes going forward every month. We're committing to a minimum of 12 classes this year. So the input from all agents is gonna be more than helpful for us to really find out what you guys want in classes. So it's gonna be 1 o'clock, 15. So all is welcome. All input is welcome.
Thank you. So in a normal CMA, basically, like I just took Leonia for an example, and I did a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, active under contract. I'm in a New Jersey. The Cloud CMA can be accessed through the New Jersey MLS. I don't know if we have functionality for the Hudson, but it could be accessed through the New Jersey for sure. And when you do a CMA, the traditional CMA, you're just going in where we print out a report and choose the type of style, and the traditional CMA is right here. It's a CMA report. So first you just have to check these. Check all the ones you're going to use. That's your traditional CMA. I'm going to just click it there. And then it gives you the normal setup, you put the owner's name, the address, number of bedrooms, baths, and then this produces a regular CMA. The New Jersey MLS came up with it's called a cloud version, a cloud CMA report. And honestly, it's been sitting here for a while. I've never used it. I never even sat and opened it up and went through last week and to our last meeting. But I was curious because I wanted to find different ways.
You cover it with the pictures, you make that thing really small. Put all that little thing right there.
That's all right.
You're fine.
Okay. So this reason why I want to start at this point, just to show the ease it is to get into it on the first surface. So has everyone done a CMA in the New Jersey MLS so far?
Yeah.
So you're comfortable where if you went to here and you wanted to do this report.
Someone has this work.
Yeah, so this one is this is the traditional one.
Scott, one question. Can you just give us a brief, like, what's the main difference between a CMA? Are we getting into the?
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to show the visual for just a minute, because you'll see the original one. That's in the MLS, and then open up the new one, the cloud one. That's the easiest way.
So here you started with the search and then you went to.
Yes, yeah, and so the traditional CMA, in both the traditional CMA and the cloud CMA, you can start with a search. And then it would, when you push the cloud CMA, it would give you the option to use the MLS numbers from your search, or it gives you the ability to do a quick search. But this is the traditional one that you guys are used to. And I just want to show you. It will help when I do this one. Okay, so this is, it comes out looking like this. And then if you do a preview, this is a normal CMA that we've been sending to. A second.
It's working.
It's thinking about it.
No, it's not.
It's spinning in the upper left, but
Oh,
Yeah, this is yes, it's just go to this thing.
Yes. So what's up?
Thing. Okay, so up until now, I've basically been emailing my clients this traditional CMA, which breaks down what's active, under contract, sold. And then it goes, to the general ones, and then it goes down to a summary. But it looks really like static, except for the map. Everything's pretty much static. And then at the bottom, I just want to show you the summary, right? So that's what we would print out and bring to customers, or we would email them and send them this copy. Now, what's cool about the cloud CMA I will pick up my page. Okay. The cloud CMA, if you've done your search, you're the same spot, you picked examples. And then it comes into this portal, right? Where you put your client's name on the left, you put the address. Using my house.
Are you admitting people or is somebody else doing it for you?
Hmm?
Are you admitting people or is
I think,
got it.
cool. So now, with the cloud CMA, I have the option to go with the MLS numbers I picked in the search, or I can go over to the right here and let the cloud CMA pick them for me. Now, what I've been doing is I've been going with the MLS that I picked because I feel like I have more control over the comps. But what's kind of cool here is when you go to the next page, right? So it automatically put the MLS numbers there. Now, this is what their version looks like.
Scott, this is all after you did the search, right?
Just after I did the search, it picks the MLS numbers. And then on the left side here, I can go in. These are all the ones I picked. And I can still now look at them again. I can open up each one and say, is this kind of close to what, the house looks like? This is Leonia Avenue. This is more the center of town. It's more of an old, an older house. I can do that for each one. And this is say like, hey, this one, this really isn't at the price point that I'm in my zone. But I hit this, it takes it off the averages.
Is there a map at the top that you were looking at too? So
Yeah,
you can choose
and
it
then this
there.
is kind of cool too, because you don't have this right off the bat in the traditional CMA, and you can also use a negative sign and a positive sign, and you can kind of move it around. So people can see like which ones are closest to the subject. So the subject is basically right here. So that's another way to look at the map and go through the list and pick the ones that basically will help your cause. So I just did that. I'm just, for time, I'm just going to keep it that way. Now, in my mind, I'm looking at this information, and this is argument 6 saying, even though it's saying average 853, I kind of know that it probably should be going out at like 929, for example, the way the market is. So I will look through this information, and if there's like one that's just an outlier, either a low number or a high number, like I was saying before, I'll remove it. Like this Hillcrest, it's 5.3, 5.5, So I'll try to have it come in and adjusting these to more of the average coming in where I think the value is. Then I'll go up here, and then I'll plug in the list price as suggested list price. Like that. Now, let's say hit customize report. Now, what's also cool is on the left side, you can make this CMA as big or small as you want it, more detailed or more of like an executive report. For my purposes, when I'm using this Cloud CMA for right now is to send it to, for a couple of purposes. One is to send it to past clients that I've worked with for more than a year or two. Like yesterday, I sent one to a guy that I sold a house to on Grand Avenue 14 months ago. He bought it for $665, and the value of his house now is showing it at 810. A 795 to 810. So I sent him the CMA short version. I'm going to show you what I mean by the short version. And I emailed it to him, then I sent him a text. So I emailed it to them, and then I text them, hey, I just sent you to your email this report, because if you send the report blindly, people are weary these days of getting anything that they don't know is coming. And he texted me back last night, and I said, congratulations, and this great value increase. He was psyched. I got a date with his family to go fishing in June. I promised my God I'd take him fishing. But it was a way for me to stay in contact, give them an update, and then I'm going to show you what I added in the custom report. Now, you can change the theme of the report here. Choose a theme. But I want to get to really the main thing. So what I did is I customized each page. I went through and took out a lot of extra pages about fluff, about how do you determine pricing, how do you, what's important about curb appeal, staging. It's all good information, but I don't want my clients to have to read a report that is longer than that they can do in 3 to 5 minutes. I want them to scan it, get the gist of it. So my goal at the end of the day was to do that. So I went in and on the top right corner here, you go to custom pages. First on the top right corner, the little things there again.
And you click and drag that.
I'm going to drag this bit away. There you go. All right. So under account settings, you could go in and you can upload your picture, upload your logo, upload all your contact info. It doesn't all populate from the New Jersey MLS. Okay, so it doesn't take as long as you. I mean, I didn't talk to Baxter for about 3 days. So he thought I was like a mad at him, but I was just
True love.
I was just staying there. I was on a mission to get this updated, you know, but, so the title page, you also can change the way what this says competitive market analysis. I don't call it a competitive market analysis when I send to my customers. I call it a market trend analysis or a market trend report. I don't want them to think I'm going after their place, technically asking them to list their place. You follow me? I want them to get the same information as a resource, but also going after their friends. I'll show you the way I wrote it up. So this is like a little cover. This is just a cover page. So in here, I changed this morning because I got an opportunity for a listing appointment for a 2-family in West New York. So before I sent this out this morning, I had to go into my customer saying, "Hey, it's Scott. I hope everything is well. Hope you and your family are doing great. I just want to check in and share information that will bring you up to speed with the current dynamics going on in the real estate market." And then I list like 4 things that I feel like a couple things that are affecting them. I said, well, I thought it'd be a good idea to share this real estate market. I call it checkup on your property, help bring you up to speed with the market conditions, taken into the 2020 spring real estate market. Here are a couple of things: record low inventory, interest rates climbing, record high inflation. I didn't want them to think that. I wanted them to realize that there are certain things happening. And if they're thinking about doing something, or they, even if they're not, at least I'm educating them. And I put down the above mentioned concerns inspired me to send you this report. You know, and if you are thinking about basically selling, this kind of real estate market is so awesome, it could change someone's financial life, financial situation, right? And then I said I used this web tool for cloud CMA. So it looks, because they're going to look at it and say, it looks kind of like a CMA. So I'm letting them know it's set up through the same mechanism. But this is my way of like an introduction that I could use across the board. And I'll make a copy for everyone. Then I went in to the agent resume. And I created a very basic resume. And I've been in the business for 29 years. 500 transactions, 54.
That's not basic.
Yeah, a little basic. I kept this short. I didn't go to the Hudson unless. And then a circle of excellence, education, some things, you know, I'm part of, you know, what I've created, you know, with the kids, especially learning differently, rocks, page for kids that learn differently. So I'm trying to give them a human aspect. You know, it's like here, I've been in the business, I got experience, I'm giving back to the community. And then I went to our company page, and Kat helped me with this. And I went through and I created a really cool overview, because I don't think we really talk about I don't think we know how to talk about our company, honestly. Because I couldn't put it in words when I was trying to, but this is how I came up with. Keller Williams City Views Realty is located 2200 Fletcher, across the street from Linwood Plaza Shopping Center. We're founded in 2015 by a group of established agents with exceptional track records, local real estate knowledge, and focus on the mission to create an exceptional experience for our clients and customers. We now have a satellite office in Richfield Park and Hasbrook Heights, with new locations always on the works. Our office has a strong residential, commercial relocation and rental division that covers northern New Jersey. I mean, that's us. That's the baseline for us. And then I don't think we also don't talk about is we're part of the Bergen County Partners region. I think I'm sure I missed a couple of offices there. My brain froze up. I was going to this Ridgewood, Whitecroft, Oradell, Fairlawn, Woodcliff Lakes, Rutherford, Tenafly. But this is an important thing you got to let people know about. Offices share resources and connect on a private Facebook page with 1,196, I looked it up on their page, 1,196 agents who share listings, clients, contacts, and vendors freely, with the result in our record-breaking year, which we had in 2021. You see how we're tying it together? I think it's important. This is our story. I think this is, and we met, and then this is what Kat came up with, which was really kind of cool. She gave me the stats for the office, and I tied it into this. And this is, you guys could just use exactly verbatim what I have. You know, I'll just send. Yeah, I'll figure out how, but you just.
If you want to send it to me, I can.
Yeah, I'll send you, yeah, and you could just go right through, because the way she wrote it was really great. Measuring the success of listing, speak for themselves with a #1, Keller Williams at #1 real estate franchise, agent count, closed units. And also, you know, the volume. And at the end, it's like the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, you can't, I actually felt a lot better when I finished this. I'm like, I'm gonna get on the phone and talk to someone, because, I mean, who can really say half of this stuff? And you may say, well, I'm new. I don't have a lot of numbers behind me. I don't have a lot of sales. Just use the office numbers. And if you go into a town, if you go into a town like Oradell, and you're not sure, go to Patrick and ask in our office, what have we sold in Oradell? And get the list of an Oradell and send that along with your information.
So just go back to like speaking of new agents, like if you're under 2 years, would you really want to put like a resume?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think sometimes we forget, like when we have transferable skills.
Yeah.
You're very personable.
Ah.
You know what I mean? And you're engaging. And you probably have transferable skills from a previous position that you were in, that someone would want to know that, you know, you'd be on top of things, you know. So there's a way to balance it as you're going through.
Got it.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't, I guess, just wouldn't bullet point, year and a half, you know, got my license in 2021, like that kind of stuff. I guess you kind of.
No, I would go with just a general, I would start with a general part for you, and then I would work the office numbers.
Got it.
Like the 1/3 you're starting off, and then because there's probably things you're involved in with community stuff. So you're also affiliated, which you don't realize, you're affiliated with the National Association of Realtors, the Eastern Board of Realtors, the New Jersey MLS. All of that stuff underneath that, it looks good,
Yeah, I get it.
you know? Because that's what, you know, so I had this thing like a page and a half, and I kept paring it down, because I didn't really want him to have to look at a lot. It sounds weird, but my motive was to have them just really spend 3 to 5 minutes on this whole thing I'm telling you. And then it gets into then it just talks about, remember now the original CMA I sent, what it looked like? Okay, I wanted to show you something. I'm going to go all the way down here, and I'm going to push publish. But the cool feature about this program is you have 2 ways you can send it to your client. You can send it to them, you'll email it to them, and they're going to be able to either, actually there's 3 ways, but you can use it as a slideshow, but the slideshow doesn't present well. It's like looking through a camera, but the whole thing is big. So you have to move it. So don't even use the slideshow in this thing. But if you could view this as a PDF, right? Or you can view it as a live. Now watch what happens when you send it, they open up and it goes live. It opens up, now this is where the cloud version comes in. This is what they see on their computer and on their, and it actually opens up nicely on a phone, which is surprising. But a lot of times they don't do well. So the reason why you asked about before do a resume is because this opens up this way. You see all the affiliations, professional affiliations. I started putting in all those things we talked about. You know, and then your client can go, you can mess with them, you can write stuff. Don't make any weird faces on it. And here's a company story. You know, what's a CMA? There's a little video of why it's important to, you know, to use the New Jersey MLS and marketing your home. And then here's the, look how much better the presentation is. It's night and day. But here's the kind of cool thing. It shows you the sold. It shows you a square foot, if you want the square foot. It shows you the days and how much over ask the places are going. Now, here's the cool thing. I have a listing across the street that we're going to final invest in an hour and a half. And my buyer, I showed him the place. I sent him this report, but as a CMA for the buyer, you know what I mean? And he texted me back. At first he said, there's nothing, I've seen everything. Then he looked at the report and came back because that was a really helpful report. Unfortunately, he looked at the data really closely. He's not moving up. Which is fun. I don't know if educating him really was helpful. I don't think I'm going to win my own bid. But here, this is another interesting thing it does. It compares the price against the Zillow value thing, the Zillowator thing, Zestimator. So in this area, it's saying that Zillow is off by 8.7%. Oh, wow. So when someone's sitting there looking at their property and they're saying, oh, they're relying on Zillow, and they're like, oh, I took this Zillow, and why do I need your report? Well, let me show you why. Because you're making a decision, and you basically don't have the correct numbers. You're off by 72,000, and you don't say if it's up or down. It says, well, explain to me. No, we have to meet. I really have to explain this in person. You know, but and then here's the the suggested price. This is the average price. Now, before I'm sending this out, I'm looking at that average price. I go on to Zillow. I look at what Zillow actually says. I look at what they're saying, and I think about where I think it would fit in the current market we're in. And that's when I was going back and forth with the comps, taking some comps out, switching the comps, because not that to make it not a correct price, to make it more accurate. Because I want the average, if this average is so far away from where I'm recommending it, like, is that correct? And so you have to just think about, in the past, I didn't think that much about that. Sounds like a weird thing to say. And then it actually explains to people, and this is what I did next. Then I came in and said, I'm going to figure out exactly every step I do when I first take the listing, because I give you this really like bare bone one. So I just sat there and I just, started coming up with, the things I do and where I advertise the homes and where we advertise the homes. Meeting the seller, schedule with the photographer, writing the description. Like I had a listing appointment yesterday. There's one more thing they asked me to do, and I hadn't done it before. It's really a lot of people that are executives. What they really would love you to do is give them a workflow. If they all think that way, and they work every day. They think of calendars. We're talking about today, calendars and workflow. So last night for Union City in a thread, I wrote the whole week timing and dates, and I sent it to them for a workflow, and they were thrilled because they're both really busy. And then my photographer came back because, of course, after I did talk to my photographer, I can't make that time. Thanks. So I sent it back. So I got the adjusted time, and I sent them the new time. But that was so. So I'm going to add in here, create a workflow for my clients because they got a new board. They're running in two different directions. they have their calendar and they survive on their calendar and what's important. So they've plugged the dates in. Tomorrow we'll meet the contractor to do the prep work. Next Tuesday, we do the virtual tour. The description has to be finished by Thursday. The listing's posted Friday, and the open house is Saturday. So you're putting dates to it and times.
How would that look? Would that put the dates on it
No, this is just and it's more, I could share my email with you after. It's more of like separate email, just saying, here's our workflow we talked about, and then I created the date, and then I space it out, like
Right.
each thing almost like an event. It's like you're creating events.
Right.
Yeah. And then install Supra, review the procedure with the seller. Now, I took this a little further, which is not fair because I do things a little differently for myself. But I actually wrote out a budget of the money I spent overall for my advertising. And, because it dawned on me when someone was asking me about market action plan, I honestly, I spend about $4,000 to $5,000 a month. But I came up with different mindset than the average because I had my own company for 7 years. So Zillow bites into half of it, because and it is, but I basically I shared my budget as far as postcards, the Gold Coast magazine is really reasonable. And then after that, they go through this thing about commissions. They go through, this is like something I was talking to you a little bit about, I kind of broke down. And here's it, was client testimonials. So then I'm like, something, they don't need more than 3. But, so I gave them 3 recent ones, but then I went down here and I created 2 clickable links to Google and to Zillow. So Google has 28 reviews, and Zillow, actually I got one yesterday, 29. Zillow has 64. So they can just click on here now, and it takes them right to the page. And I don't have to create, so you see the whole different feeling than the tradition. It's like night and day. Now you might say like, well, what does it look like on a PDF? Here's the cool thing. This is 54 pages because there's a lot of comps. Put the little picture there. And now when you go to your appointment, you print this out and you bring it with you. And look, it's mapping everything, just like we saw on the live thing. But this is what I really like. Look how much cleaner the presentation is. And look how now a page is dedicated to pictures. Now, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't print this out to bring with me to a seller because it's going to kill me in color ink. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to email it ahead to them and send it to them. And I've been doing this. I just had a call. Actually, when we were talking before, I got a call for 2 family, and before I got off my desk, they had this in their email, and I with a note saying we can tweak this whole thing. I just when I walk through your place, but this is kind of the gist of the. Now, my purpose of it was to let them read about our company, about me, and about the thing. But isn't this cool the way? This is how the finished product looks on paper. Or the Zoom people like he's going too fast. What's he doing to me? Now, this is the thing I like. Okay. Now, when I want to email this to a client, I'm going to get email report, right? That's their email. Now, here's cool. Watch this. What I do Dexter, what's your,
Car Becker, KW.
um, now, if Beck was a past customer, and I'm not going for his listing, but I want him to get a report on his house, right? That's our first one we're talking about today, right? I'm not calling this a CMA. I'm calling this a market trends report. See how it's easy just to in here. I just put from Scottsdale. You see what it says here, the slide? Don't click the slide. It doesn't add any value, and it just frustrates anyone that tries to open it because it doesn't. It says it's lined up with the margins. So the live report, they'll click the PDF first because usually people are comfortable with a PDF, and then they'll look at the live report thinking, "What is this?" And then they'll push it, and they'll be like, it'll open up, and it's a lot more interactive, and I like that. And all you're doing is putting their email in, and you're sending it off. And then what you do is you get up, you go to your text, and you text the person. Hi, Baxter, Scott. Hope you're doing well. It's been a crazy 2 years of COVID. Hope your family's okay. I want to share this report with you, so you can kind of keep tabs on the market, how it affects your property. Let's stay in touch. Take care. I sent it to your email, and that's it. And what's cool about that is now you've got them going back to their email, looking for it instead of something looking at it saying, "I didn't ask for this," and then I won't open something up that I didn't ask for. 9 out of 10 times, I'm worried about spam and all that stuff. So that's one way to use this is to increase your production. And here's the cool thing: you run into a for sale by owner, right? And the guy, shoots you down. For argument's sake, they're usually brutal, but you have the address and maybe you have the email, and you know what it is: a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Send it to them, right? And make a note. Hey, it was nice meeting you. After you build it, after you spend the time to build it, so you can just take it turnkey. Anyone that I would send as many of these a week, because what happens is it's in their email, it's your story, it's the office story, it's our stats, it's clean, it's presentable, and it's easy, and then with a buyer, I sent him the comps. He loved it because the guy's a data scientist. That's why he works at Columbia Engineering. He's an high analytic, and he wanted information. Give him too much information. And then now the other part of this is called a buyer tour. And this I didn't even know was here, but it's really cool. Now say, this is really clear. Right, say I have,
So wait, 1 second. I'm going to pass this around. Name, address, phone number. If you want to get a copy of this.
so a buyer tour is really cool because if you go in and do a search for your buyers and you send it to the buyers first, right? And then they come back and say, of these 10, I want to see these 5. Okay, so now the ones you're putting in this one are the ones they want to see, and you say you confirm them. Okay, so you have like 5 that you're going to show them over the weekend. We put the 5 in here, right? And it creates this experience for them where he maps out the 5 in this report. It gives them, averages. Now, I cut down a lot of these pages. when you open yours up, there's gonna be like 10 more pages. You say, well, how do you cut them down? You see it on the left here. Do you see this little thing here? You get that negative and you just take it out. I don't want them to have more information than necessary. But what I did like, I kept in the restaurants and the schools. I just want to show you what it looks like. Because,
So Scott, this buyer tour is done after you've sent out that CMA.
yeah, because now you can send this to a client to view. But if it's better if you send them in the customer version of the MLS, because they can scroll through all the pictures. And then they come back and say, hey, give me the MLSs for the ones you want to see. And then you come here and it creates this buyer tour thing for them. And like I just had one in there, so it would have showed all the properties, it would have listed them. And it gives them a little map. And then it gives them this thing to write notes on. And then it tells them where the schools are in the area and the area restaurants. That's it. It's the cleanest little report. But if you're using this format with the buyers and they go out and then when they go to meet their CMA to look at what the values are in the contract, and then you send this the other report in a similar format, there's a nice continuity. So what's cool about Cloud CMA is, I know I threw a lot at you there, but I learned this on watching like 6 or 7 videos. They have all videos, which I really liked. And you go to each one. This breaks it down, but there's a different way to get in. I think this is it. So you get support. There's ways that you can go in, and they have a bunch of videos. And what I did is I went for the first one. I did account setup video, just like we have in Keller Williams, And I maybe put in 5 or 6 hours into this. What's a lot? But look what I can do now. Say 5 or 6 hours of my time, and you guys are going to be shorter because you're going to have what I did. Or you have to just do the only thing you have to change for yourself is your
Picture.
Your picture. You can keep my picture there, it's okay. But change your own resume. And any stats or any towns, like under the like you had a good question about what do I put down. I would put down in your area the towns you specialize in.
Yeah, I was being very like black and white, like years of the business. But
No, that's what I'm saying. I would put in things that give you a focus of where you are. Because what happens is that's in your head until you get through the first round of 3 to 5 deals, and then you're on your way. So it's always the first 1 or 2 the hardest, because you sit there wondering, oh, I haven't sold much there. And then you're like, oh, you talk to yourself, oh, he's not going to hire me because I haven't done much. What you do is then you bring someone in with you, or like team up with Beck or something, or you get in yourself through your first one, and then you get the testimonials. And then because once you have like 2 or 3 testimonials, and the guy's like, well, how much experience do you have? And say, okay, so look at what these people are saying about it.
And the videos you said, was that on YouTube or was it on something like one of the?
It's under the cloud thing here. Under support.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. There's other things that you can do with it, but for the purposes that I'm talking to you about as far as elevating our production. Now, since I set this up, I've sent out at least 12 of them to my clients. And you say, well, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it takes about 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes once it's set up. I go in and I identify a client I want to send one to, for example, that I haven't worked with for a while. And then, but I sold something to them, for example. I go into the MLS, I pull the old property, that he bought from me. So now I have the property he bought from me in front of me, because that'll give me the address, it'll give me the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, but I need that baseline to pull a CMA to show him how his property is doing now, since the time I sold it to him. You follow me? So he pulled the original property.
Can I confirm one thing, please?
Yeah.
So when you go to the cloud CMA, then you go to your accounts and your settings and set that up. The next time you do any other CMA, all that information is in there.
Yes, yeah, it's all saved.
That's through, you have to do cloud CMA first, then you, it's
Um,
not on.
great
NJ MLS.
question. Great question. I went in to the New Jersey MLS. I touched Cloud CMA and it prompted me to
Correct.
register. This is a basic password, and Cloud CMA comes with members of the New Jersey MLS as a base membership.
Do you have to pay for this agent suite thing? Because I saw a pop-up that said
Yeah,
try it for
no,
14
there's like
days.
4 or 5 different things that you can do if you wanted to get more deeper into it. I
Okay.
didn't do it because it didn't seem like it really added much to what, let me see if I can get there for you.
Well, there was just a pop-up that said like, try it for 14 days. I was wondering if it was like.
Yeah, that's if you wanted to add on. I thought the same thing. I thought when I was signing up that I only had 14 days with it. No, it's just like any of these companies, they make deals with the MLSs. They get in with the baseline and hope that you buy their add-ons. Like if you yeah.
So have you sent that to me so I can send it off?
Yep.
With your permission?
Oh, yeah, you can.
Everybody got that on recording?
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
it's vanilla chai, grande vanilla chai from each person.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know,
Every time you.
put me on a schedule. This one, and I'm good.
Yes.
I'm
Thank you.
good. That's, anyone have any, does anyone have any questions?
When are we going over this again?
No, we can go over it as much as you guys want. I know it's,
So can I just say also that NJMLS gives classes on this?
Okay.
So on their calendar, you can just look it up and do it through them too. If you have more questions, they do it a different way, and there's all the videos as well.
yeah, and
It's
what we
fun-
can
it's fun to
do,
play on.
if you guys email Baxter and you say that you're interested in another class to take one from scratch and go through the whole thing,
Great idea.
I'll set up another one, so we can just do all do it together.
Just click on listed for a second.
On what?
Just click on that for a second. When that pops up, when you go to nearby transactions, those are your accounts right there. Can't you just export that into the CMA? See the nearby transactions? That's your accounts right there. I'll put that. But typically,
That's funny, I've never used that.
It's a new
Yeah.
feature.
Yeah.
And it's,
That's a great question.
It's another tool in the arsenal, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's,
Sometimes if you're in a condo building, we'll give you ones that are condo
Oh, yeah.
and peripheral.
Right.
and everything else. It's another tool for sure.
yeah, I guess you could go in, if you're doing it for the prior tour, instead of going through the whole CMA thing and looking for the buyer tour, you can actually just go right into this one. And then it will pick. This is actually a better, I just want to show you what it looks like for a second.
It's the same thing you just did, no?
Um,
Alright, Tori?
Yeah, but I just had one. I just want to show
Okay,
what the map looks like.
yes.
So this is kind of cool because sometimes people want to be in a certain neighborhood, a certain area. So if you, they say, they don't want to be on the south side of Fort Lee Road or something. You see this is Fort Lee Road right here in the middle. So if you know that these down at the bottom below here are really not where they want to be, and you go in and you uncheck the ones that, and then send it to them for only the ones that are on the top. So this, because sometimes, so it's just, it's just another way. I'm I learned visually. I got ADHD, so for me, I got to see. I can see it. It's easier.
What's the flyer?
The flyer, you can create it. Let me show you. Pick one here. It creates basically a flyer for the property.
Just good to door knocking or.
Yeah.
People as well.
And it's kind of clean,
Yeah.
you know, that's what
It's nice.
let's see what it looks like on
It's
the,
an instantaneous flyer with your information on it.
yeah.
It's nice too.
You know, like, so sometimes like you have a for sale by owner, it expired, it was withdrawn. And you got the old MLS number, put it in there. And instead of pull up the old picture of the house with all your information, you bring it to them. That's what your house will look like. You know what I'm saying? But these are, the reason why we have this class is that Nico and I are very motivated to get as many of you to sign on with us, because at the end of the day, the productivity committee is the bedrock of real estate. You're not productive.
Yeah.
It's hard to make it a long time, and you want to learn from people through their experience, through what they're doing, the best practices, so you can actually shorten the distance. Why not shorten the distance, you know?
Nico, Scott, I think we would all agree we'd like to have an E class, do a CMA class with them.
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of nodding at that point, so put that on your schedule, please.
Yeah. Can we join more than one ALC committee?
Yeah,
Absolutely. You know, what the AOC basically, what our job is, or what I think our roles are, is just to make the office that much better for us agents. And there's only 9 of us, right? There's only 9 of us. But there's almost 400 of us in total.
Yeah.
So us 9 are the voices for 400.
Yeah.
So if only 3 people show up, we really can't really voice everybody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, join us. I mean, I joined other committees.
Yeah.
And we're co-chair.
and we just looked into this cloud CMA 3 weeks ago. And I just got into it for a couple of days and did it. You guys may come in and say, hey, what about this service? Or I really like using this service, and bring it to our attention, and we can all flush it out together, and then we all benefit. We can all like kind of like look under the hood and see, you know what I'm saying?
Like I use RPR. I do all my comps in RPR. But it takes me about 35, 40 minutes to do a solid comp. But I'm trying to find other ways to shorten that gap, to find out. Listen, everyone in this room, we are direct competitors in the market, right? There's so much real estate out there. There's chances that we may not be going at the same client.
Yeah.
We may not, but if we can learn from each other, it will make us that much stronger, because there might be something I can do better than you. There might be something you can be doing that way. And we can learn to shorten that gap. It's just gonna make us strong.
Better together.
And I'll tell you a real life story. You know, like, times that, Beck will come up to me and talk to me about a market that I'm strong in. And I'll tell him what I sold and he can use it. I did it with Jorge. And I had a listing appointment last year. I don't know Bergenfield that well. And I'm sitting there and I went up to him. I moved up to him. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, okay, this is the address. I go, what do I do with this? He broke the whole market down for me in like 20 minutes. And I called the seller up and I got the listing. And the first person I went back to when I got the listing was Jorge. And I go, bring it to your client. So this is what we want to do with the productivity, is to raise everyone's productivity, but also share and bounce things off each other. We have to have an edge in this climate coming up. It's very important. So as you go, send Beck an email if you want a copy. If you have any questions that you want me to go over, you can email me too, or send it back, he'll share it with me. Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Wait, we're gonna.
Everybody stay here for 1 second, please, please, stay in. Wanda?
There's one
Are you breaking it down by, how are they saying I want all northern New Jersey, or I want just West New York, or I want?
Thank you.
They gave me a radius.
I got Jose's name, and Sarah was up there.
Well, the inventory is so tight, even a radius probably won't produce that much for you right now.
We know which Sarah that was, okay.
You know, as you go into the MLS, and the more specific you are about what's important to them, the quicker you can shrink down that list. Yeah, that's the thing.
So because the inventory is so limited, they're expanding. So the minute they expand the area for one town, the average price might be 400.
Yeah.
But for the next one, it will be 300, or, like vice versa, whatever. So I keep getting all this here, so I want to limit it,
Yeah.
put it in the list, it's every year.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to, when people go
Yeah,
to a
really,
place
really.
like that a lot, I really ask them, what are the five, 3 or 4 most important things to you? Price, the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, type. I know, but that's a hard bar to work with. Because you're gonna be bounced all over. The best thing you can do for them.
Yeah.
Guys, signing off.